Here we go.
Action.
Mark says, I'm a big fan of Adam and Joe and would probably like to be them. Please tell us that Joe is not really nice and funny, but is in fact a ruthless and miserable dictator on set. Come on.
I'm sorry, such a disappointment. He's brilliant. You know that thing where I'm a huge fan of Adam and Joe, and when I walked into the audition, I was like, hi. I was a bit nervous and I just found him a bit cool. And then you get friends with him and you realise what a top bloke he is. And he's also incredibly funny, and you realise, you know, out of his love of film and his love of all genres of everything, cultural references, that's, I suppose, why him and Adam created such brilliant work. And I think I lasted about 5 days before I went, how did you make Titanic?
You can open your eyes now.
Whoa, I'm flying.
You know, I wasn't cool enough to try and like pretend I didn't know who he was. I had to go straight in there because I'm a 80s baby, so I'm very aware of the Adam and Joe show. But out of all the people I've worked with, I get more cred for working with Joe than anyone else. So it's brilliant.
He's the ultimate kind of bedroom geek done well, isn't he? Him and Adam Buxton.
Yeah, and he's such a cool guy, and it's been such a passion project for him, but he made it ours as well, and he absolutely included us in so many decisions about things that you really feel like a whole family has made Attack the Block, and it's a really special thing to see him then have this idea realised, and that hopefully he seems like it's up to the standards that he had in his head. So hopefully we.
Gemma asks, who is also a volunteer, she asks, would you agree that British cinema is enjoying a bit of a resurgence at the moment? And I think you've got a sort of Submarine which came out recently and things like that.
Another Deadly as well, which is, I think, I'm a member of BIFA, which is the British Independent Film Awards, and every year we get to watch some really, really fantastic projects that are made, with British money and supported by Britain, and stories that range from alien invasion to a journey into adolescence, and it kind of I think it is really exciting, and I think British cinema was the reason I wanted to be an actor, and I feel that this is a cool time to be involved in it, and I think we do work that we can be proud of. And it's hard with cuts, and it's hard, every industry is going through a very difficult time financially, and I'm sure creatively something exciting may come of that. And I adored Submarine. I think that's an excellent film, and so there's so many, but that's the best thing, that you go to the cinema and you can come out feeling in a completely different mood from the moments before. Something really crap can have happened on the way to the cinema, and then you sit there and you're like, oh yeah, this is brilliant. Trailer start, you stuff your face with popcorn, and then half the time I go see stuff that makes me cry, so I come out with mascara down my face. It's just brilliant. And from those little cinemas and the local cinemas that's where I started going to see films. So you want those to survive, and you want those to be able to put films like Attack the Block on, so that our film gets seen.
Definitely. We're really pleased to be showing it. We're really pleased.
Yeah.
Especially because we have got kind of blocks all around us in Crosby and Bootle, and actually, it's the kind of community that could put up with aliens coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been asked that a lot. What would I do if I was attacked by an alien?
Yeah.
I think I'd do the gorilla style stare off, where if you just stand and stare at it, you scare it as much as it's scared of you. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe, hopefully that works.
Proven technique. That one.
Yeah.
Proven technique.
Yeah.
Speaking of the aliens, right? The little bits that have been released of the creatures, they look really good. They look different to other aliens that we've seen. They look a bit kind of wolfish and stuff. So are they CGI? Are they part?
No, they were there. It was extraordinary, because I think Joe's talked a lot in his interviews about the fact that the films he's referenced aren't, you know, these modern kind of heavily CGI'd films from, you know, from this decade, but from the 80s, where it was animatronics, it was a puppet, it was, you know, if something was flying towards you, it was probably on a string flying towards you, and he used to get excited by that, and I think that influenced the Aliens. We had 2 guys on set the whole time in those full suits, so there's hardly any CGI used. There's the CGI used when there's more than 2 in a scene, but if I was being chased, I'm being chased, and that guy was fast. He could get down the corridor, and it was terrifying. And you know, the speed they could pick up, because they were stunt guys as well, and they were really amazing to work with and to watch, because they'd do the rehearsal without the full suit on, if you know, without the head mask or whatever, to feel it through. And even when, you know, even though they were under a mask, they every facial muscle was acting and performing and engaged, and so it was a really brilliant thing to be a part of, because you know, then when we'd go for a take and everyone's fully suited and booted, you were scared. You had running and kind of jumping on you and stuff, and it was, I think it makes Attack the Block, it is the making of it, because we aren't all going, one of us isn't looking there and the other going like that, and the other person looking down there. You know, we all look at the same thing because it's actually there. There's nobody holding a tennis ball on the which happens a lot, or like someone putting a cross on the wall behind you as your eye line. You know, there's none of that. So that's, I think, sets it apart as well, because now CGI is so widely used, and sometimes for the better, and not always for the. It's not always a benefit to a film, I think, but you know, a lot of the time it is, and it's a wonderful invention. I'm kind of glad Attack the Block's old school.
Good. I'm a big fan of American Werewolf in London, and kind of Rick Baker's effects for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's time consuming, and I imagine very expensive, but you cannot argue that that's the most realistic transformation, isn't it?